Good afternoon, good afternoon. Oh my goodness, took me a bit to find the right buttons again. I seem to be having a bit of that habit happening lately. Oh, I had a friend who mentioned to me, what's happened to your plant behind you? This the one. I didn't realise it's actually dropped over and covering that. I'll have to fix that up a bit later, won't I? It's just growing so fast, and it's a beautiful plant. I'll just show you that because it's relevant and part of my life story. There you go. See how that Chinese happy plant, it's some form of a happy plant. You can see there, just near that fake daisy flower thing, there's only two little sticks there that started off being as, well, actually they're less than my little pinky, I think, thick, as far as the whole stick worth of what it's growing from is only that long, probably into the soil. And it's growing that big plant. It's been going for I don't know how many years, probably at least 10, if not a bit older. I have to put some hooks up into the ceiling so that I can train some stockings or something like that to be a gentle trellis thingy that it can climb up, or some sort of a chain. I'm not sure yet. It survived my ministrations over those years. Surprise to the family, but I've still got it. It was my mum's and dad's. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. I'm Ros Boundy, and I'm bringing to you bits and pieces from Boomer Press. I have been doing these now. How many sessions have we got? This is the 7th. So probably 3 weeks through the 5-foot rope TV space. And hopefully it is going through to my Ros Boundy profile. And I'll share it out in other places later. I could even potentially. Once I have my YouTube channel with over 100 subscribers, or there's a minimum number of subscribers on a YouTube channel that will be valid to do live streaming to that, as well as the Facebook page one. So I'm just going to share with you the Facebook page, the social media channels. I'm not sure how I do it one at a time. In the comments, I can copy and paste that, and hopefully you receive that. This is the new YouTube channel that's actually got the channel recognition as the @Boomer Press. The previous one I created had gobbledygook numbers and stuff after it. I'd set it up incorrectly. So this one I have set up in the Boomer Press business name, and I was able to do the @Boomer Press as the tagline at the end of the channel name. So I'm really happy about that. Haven't managed to do the same with the Facebook, but I shall do that now. And I've also put in there the website. So hopefully that's enough. I might even put the Instagram as well. Why not? Did that Facebook one go? Yes, I think so. Okay, and now I'll just put the Instagram. I haven't used the LinkedIn very much at all yet, so I'll share that when I've got a bit more of the posting happening to there. So those are the links that you can connect with me in whatever form that you're wanting to. Okay, I'm just going to put the reminder. Here is a comment that I can share with you as well. Just as a reminder as you're watching this video that maybe you can pop over to that YouTube channel. Now, purpose of these sessions on a Monday and a Thursday is, guess what? You can see that up here, just in the little circle. So I'm going to switch it round now so that we can continue a bit of a journey using these cards as part of the memoir writing process, or just getting past writer's block and that type of thing. Because I'm really enjoying my journey in learning writing, in taking people through that journey as well. In the process that I used was a full-on course for a year that was to do more with a little bit the business of self-publishing and writing non-fiction. So I feel very confident with that area. and eventually going into fiction writing. So there's other things I'm investing in writing skills at the moment that I'll learn and eventually pass on to those who join me through Boomer Press as well. A bit of that's to do with AI writing, and we'll get into that a bit more as these videos, these sessions do progress. Okay, so let's go this away. And here is the, oh, excuse me, just had a bit of a hiccup then. Here is the box of cards that I've been using. Sorry, I was just shifting something around so I can see. Here we go, and I will be a bit off screen there, won't I? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right, so this is the box of cards that I have been using. So it is a life story interview kit, and I got them because I was doing some research around memoir, and these popped up in my visual somewhere along the line. You know how when you do searches, you get lots of ads for what you've searched for. Then you buy something, you still get lots of ads of that particular same exact thing that you still don't need now. Sort of like that. So that's what happened here. I was looking for memoir assistance and writing skills and came up with this. So in the end, we'll all become stories. I love that. When I found it, I didn't know that saying quote was there to start with. A couple of sessions ago I found it. Oh, that's really relevant. So here we go. I'm just placing these as the columns or the rows. I'll put them here because I do it differently sort of every time, don't I? So there we've got our early life, then we've got the midlife, and then we've got the later life and reflection. Right, and as you can see, I've not quite done it right. Let's go up there. Do that a bit further up. That one's okay, and we can fit that in. Okay, all a bit on a lean, but that doesn't matter. And as you can see, we've gone through this many questions already so far in the 7 episodes, this being the 7th in the 6 episodes. I think one of the introductory ones I went through 6 cards because I was doing pairing as well. Interesting, isn't it? And that's the back of the cards there. Wow, excuse me, I've just got to itch my eye. Isn't it funny weather at the moment? Because I know it's coming through as not stormy, it's just grey, wet skies, and it's just starting to rain now. The wind is picking up, then waning, picking up. It's very interesting. Spring weather, change of the seasons, I think. So it's quite cool right now. Now, what we can step through with our next 3 questions for today is we're going to start on describe your father. So that's our early life question for today. So I might just go like that so that that's the one that I'm talking about. And this is where we can choose whichever way we want to describe someone. It doesn't have to be just that description of a person as in their physical appearance. And we can describe at what age, what era of their life they may have been in. I've got quite a few photos of when Dad was younger, sort of. Not heaps, because in the era that my parents were around, which was, they were both born in the 1930s, Mum 30, Dad 31, so that, there was cameras, yes, but it wasn't as frequent like we can do now with our, what we've got available with a mobile phone now is astronomically convenient compared to how photos were taken back in those decades. So, describe my father. I can remember seeing the photo of Dad holding me, holding my twin sister and I would be the correct way of saying that. And what we would do, we were just little tackers, enough that he was holding us, one on each arm or hip, under each arm, hip, whatever. I know we were able to hold him round his arm, but we were only small. I think we would have been about the year old, just starting to walk. And there's Dad with, the old hats that they would wear back in those days. He used to wear glasses. He was a tall, slim man of about the 5'11" and something. Not quite 6 foot, so he was the 5'11" something. I did say slim, didn't I? And very much muscled as a farmer would be in those days. So that's how I remember him looking in this photo. It's highly likely I'll eventually come across it as I get the photo stage of looking through the albums and picking out what memories I do want to put in a memoir and whether I want to actually add photos into it. Because I do know that does add to the cost of producing a book astronomically. As soon as you start putting photos in, your costs go up, not just double. It can be quite large. So, needing to choose what parts of memories and descriptions you want to put in and how you're beefing it out to create the story, it all combines and marries together in ways that you're going to need some discernment. But the fun part is actually just starting and doing this type of thing. Dad was a wonderful, kind man. He would sit and chat with people. He was a lay preacher in the Methodist Church. That's how my upbringing began, was within the Methodist realm, and going every Sunday to church, sometimes twice, because he might have 2 of the parishes that he would preach at. And the Sunday school picnics, the interaction together. When I finally started to choose to follow faith in how I decided I would take on for myself the lay preaching, by then it was in Uniting Church, but it was that sure foundation of a belief system that was well tried and true in those eras. It still is. It's what we feel that is our right pathway of belief and understanding that we are certainly going to choose for ourselves once we've had that foundational upbringing from loving parents. And he certainly was a fair, not strict, but firm in discipline and expectations. And it was within that framework. And I would say he was just a lovely, community-minded man who got along with most people, indeed. In fact, I don't think I saw him arguing or having anyone being too aggro with him at all through what my experience of Dad was, and when I was actually there to see it. Now, next question, our midlife question: describe your first full-time job. I think we've had this one in a different framing before, because I can remember at one of the previous lives that, unless I've just pulled this one out as an ad hoc, not part of those, I haven't ever had a full-time job besides building a business ourselves, my husband and I at the time. We started with doing hammer-milled sheep manure that grew into cow manures, that grew into potting soils and mixes, and that type of product that we'd take up to Adelaide and sell to the Targets, the Peter Bennett Organic Store and Lascocks and Mum's Lawns, all sorts of places that were gardening specialties. And it was a wonderful start that then grew into earth moving, that then grew into rock crushing. So raising a family at the same time as growing a business as we did it, yeah, it was a full-time job, but it wasn't a job because I wasn't being paid. It was part of, in partnership, in business, in creating a company and growing that business. And at no point there was only one point where for 2 to 3 years I insisted to my husband at the time, we are going to pay ourselves. This is ridiculous. So that's about the only time we ever paid ourselves for what was, to that point, a lifetime of 24/7 work, really. Yes, so put that into the mix of what you're going to write in your journal, ready for doing some memoirs and gathering it together. Now, the third one, our later life and reflection, this does take the longer time. So, do you have any goals you'd like to accomplish? And this one I can answer quite easily, because even though in my life I hadn't started with the desire to get moving ahead with being an author or anything, that I always liked reading. I've loved writing some poetry ad hoc and, in general, writing things that are at the time more journalising. So I've enjoyed that all along, but it's been since, before Mum and Dad went. It was more when Dad was writing his own books. That was a history around the churches at Meningie and the Agricultural Bureau, and then it was the John and Pat story, because I'd insisted, whilst helping Dad to do those other more history, chronological sort of books, said, you've got to write your story. You've got so much that you've got of stories that I don't want you to forget. I don't want us to forget as kids. Write your book, write it for you, write it for us kids at least, to get, your story there on paper so that we don't forget. So we did manage to jointly move through creating that book, and it was a wonderful experience. I'm sitting in front of a Cutler roll top desk, because Dad always wanted a Cutler roll top desk, and it was at this desk side by side that Dad and I would collaborate. I'd be doing the typing of his handwriting, because we did try dragon speech in the very early days of when that was created. This dates how long ago it was that we started doing this. But the speech recognition certainly wasn't what it is today, and you had to speak in a slow voice and monotone, and at the end of the sentence you would have to say period, new paragraph, this is the next paragraph to the story, and it would continue like that. Well, Dad's way of speaking was not able to be confined to that requirement. So at that point in time, it was $200, which was a lot of money. And we invested in it because it was worth trying, because it was the handwritten words that were taking a lot of time and a little bit of frustration to manoeuvre around on paper, whereas I was transposing it to a word processor, easy to shift things. So, it was all that sort of way of working out what worked. And that's the same as this. I've wanted to write my own story since then, and I'm in front of the Cutler roll top desk doing this, and being able to share with you with improved and very much updated technology to what we had then. So, do you have any goals that you want to accomplish? I know I'm progressing and doing that exactly, what I've wanted to for a while, and being able to offer it in a way that I can share how I've learnt and everything with you guys is absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely thrilled that I can do this. And, the more we learn, the more we do, for me, the more I want to share it out. Because there is so many wonderful ways that we can be sharing to show others how easy some of it can be. When you see confusion on people's face and lack of confidence, it just takes one step, really, to be able to, comprehend that you can do it. Believe in yourself. It's your story. No one else is going to be able to do it. No one else is going to be able to share it from your perspective, from your understanding. And as much as we might think that, boring life, there's nothing interesting that I've got to share or say with anyone, not really. And I've sort of thought of it that way myself at times too. But when you start to really think and contemplate about what you've moved through in your life and your experiences, there is going to be more than one story that you could possibly share with others as a book. It just takes guidance and help along the way, a bit of a dig and a prod and a kick up the arse if you need it, that type of thing, to be able to keep it moving forward, so that you really can give to your children or your grandchildren something that could be considered a legacy. Or you can share with people of similar life situations who've been flummoxed by how to move through them, and they might pick up your book and you've had this similar experience that gives them a next step clue or the answer they've been seeking that they didn't know they needed. It's so many different steps along the way that we can share with people that we really don't know who is the person that's going to be needing what we can share. Is it something that really, I sometimes wonder, is it our responsibility even to share with others what we've had as our experiences so that they too can be guided or advised or see how well we've done and just say thank you? It's not that we do everything in our life for the thank you, or recognition actually. We're just living our lives, but they can be so interesting. They can be so helpful to other people. So just consider what ways you can create your story. Bring it to life. And, if you want to publish, as in having it out and into the world for purchase, that's possible too. Or you can just get whatever number of copies you want to have printed off for yourself, because it can certainly help you in guiding you in that direction. And, share that with your family as the gifts of that legacy just for you and your kids or grandkids or cousins, aunts and uncles, whatever family you'd like to share it with. It is interesting when, as an adult, that you realise and understand, wow, your parents are people too, after reading their story. I sort of knew it a bit before the other kids, siblings and the rest, because I was the one typing out the words. But even as Dad was sharing those stories with me as he was writing them by hand and everything, it was a wonderful experience, and it did bring us closer together, especially in understanding, wow, they're people with loving hearts, with different understandings, with foibles as well. No one's perfect. We're all unique. It was just a wonderful experience. And moving through that, helping him out, I just love that period of life. Now, it's too late to ask them anything, really, besides in that psychic medium realm, potentially. And sometimes I have had those hints. But it is at the point where really don't leave it too late until it is too late. If you want that is your parents' story or grandparents, even to write your own, because anything can happen as a completion of life. And that's how I'll say it. Okay? Just this life. What more have we got ahead? We'll discover when we get there. So write it down now. I'm going to leave it there now and repost where I need to share it. And I'd love it if you could share this out and about too. Go to the Boomer Press Facebook page, the Instagram page, even the YouTube channel, and subscribe and like and share as much as you can. And especially for those who do have a good story that you'd like them to follow up with and get printed and written and printed and sold, shared with others. Thank you so much for your time, and until Sunday night, because I do have an hour session on Sunday night, and there will be the Mondays at the 5:30 Australian Central Daylight Time, and Thursdays 5:30 Australian Central Daylight Time, hosted on 5 Foot Rope TV and shared out from there. So thank you so much. Bye for now.